All right, guys, welcome back to the second part of this trilogy. Our main topic here is why self-discipline is ultimately useless. And also, though, why there is a time and a place for everything, also self-discipline. So in the first part, we touched on the stages of our evolution. We shared our story and when self-discipline was actually necessary, when it's useful, that there is a time and a place for it. And now we want to jump into the second part, which is being disciplined about the one thing that will really allow you to put everything in context for you to really see when it is useful, when it has been useful in your life, and to start to increase your awareness to really see the big picture, right? And to kind of start this off, and I already kind of gave it away by saying what it is, but becoming disciplined about increasing our awareness, why that is so important. Maybe you have something to share on that, Leo. All right, super quick before we dive into today's content. If you are looking to become a truly high value man, if you want to become the best version of yourself as a man, the highest potential you can possibly reach in this human form, and you also want to have amazing relationships with other people, with women in particular, if you want to learn how to have thriving, healthy, passionate, deeply fulfilling relationships, then don't forget to subscribe below this video, hit the notification bell so that whenever we post a new video, you will directly be notified. And also like this content if you enjoy it, right? If this resonates with you. And then don't forget to leave a comment, anything that you find valuable, anything you want to share from your own personal experience, post it below the video, and I'll be sure to check it out and respond to you. And then lastly, we do have an exclusive Facebook group, which is also linked somewhere below this video. Go check it out, join the Facebook group. I'll be doing exclusive live calls on there where I'll be sharing some of the most transformational tools that have helped me on my journey, that have helped Leo on his journey, and obviously a lot more stuff that I'll be discovering that I'll be sharing with you only inside the Facebook group. So without further ado, enjoy, and I'll see you there. Peace.
Well, if you saw part one, where we were discussing this idea that we have, well, everywhere, not only social media, everywhere, that there is a way, there is this one way, and it's either pushing through or either sometimes even letting go of everything. Also this idea sometimes comes up, and we talked about the two extremes. And why awareness is important. It's important because we can't come here and tell you, this is the way for you to do things. This is the way for you to go. No, instead of letting go, you need to push and be disciplined about this and go for it and don't stop and blah, blah, blah. Or also the opposite. We can come here and just say like, yeah, if you're watching this, you should let it go of everything, not do any of the work that you have to do, stop working tomorrow, whatever it is, blah, blah, blah.
Just go to a cave in the Himalayas and meditate for 30 years.
Meditate for the rest of your life and everything's going to be fine, right? This idea that someone will be able to tell you 100% what you need to do is, again, the same problem that comes with this discipline mindset of thinking that there is a way, there is control, and all of that. And why awareness is important? Because there is a moment and there is a way when you need to be disciplined and when you need to let go, when things are too rigid and you are missing life because you are too rigid in the mindset that you have, or when you are just punching yourself, or punching your head. No, that's the proper word for this. Begging? Forgot the word. Yeah, banging. What the fuck? Banging your head against the wall. It's already 11 for me, guys. Come on, give me a break. You're banging your head against the wall and it's like, keep doing it. Okay, maybe it's time for you to let go. But how do you know when it's time? How do you actually know how to behave in that specific moment? That is when you need to have a really, really strong awareness. And that also goes a little bit to the last podcast where we were talking about self-rejection and the things that me and Martin are going through in these last few weeks. And how can we push or move towards or through that we are, let's say, stuck It's because of our awareness. It's because we are aware of what's going on. We are aware of, oh, okay, this is the problem, and I'm doing this and this and this. So in my case, I'm too focused on trying to eliminate the pain, let's say, of not meeting a new woman, because I feel like I need to get into a frame of being this cool guy that has everyone, blah, 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 because I'm a coach, whatever, because I was teaching dating for a bunch of these guys or whatever it is. So because I'm in that specific point that I'm trying to prove myself to fit into this to myself, it's like, okay, my ego is, I'm working in this ego level. This is what's going on for me. And this is where I need to let go. And sometimes that comes with practice that we did in the past, where, okay, I need to focus a bit more on being present, or focus on being in my heart or being in my balls, whatever it is. So there is a fluidity in terms of, okay, we are aware and we are able to just, okay, this is happening. This might be the way. And then we can dive towards, and we can go about life with a more fluid response, instead of this rigid, controlling idea that, oh, this is the way. I'm going to just keep pushing through it.
Yeah, and this is again like response versus reaction, right? The response is kind of like to allow yourself to remain open and just see where life really wants to take you without trying to nail it down and say, this is where I need to go. That's like the reaction, again, usually grabbing for control. And it's like, I got to do this thing. And this is so interesting because even in relationships, like I had this where I was talking to Natalia the other day, and I basically told her something where I said, look, I've lost I don't feel sexual attraction for you anymore. And I knew it was important to also say that, like to be clear about the things I want, the things that I don't want anymore, but to communicate it clearly. Because there was discomfort coming up in me, but I knew like this was necessary. And I knew had I not said this, it would have been like me again trying to control, like letting it just like slide to the sidelines and never like, yeah, she's going to get the message eventually, right? Versus this is the response, and I'm saying it here, like this is consciously choosing to respond to the situation. And that's why we say like we're going through all the stuff, but we're allowing ourselves the freedom to, because we're not in the rush anymore to say, I need to be at this place when I'm 32 or something. It's like we allow life to take over and push us where we need to go. And I told Natalia too on the call, we don't usually know what the relationships are for. Even the circumstances, we may have an idea and we're like, ooh, look, I'm getting the job that I want. But maybe you don't know that the real reason why life is presenting you with this job is not so you can make more money, but so you can get fired by this boss in a really crazy manner, so you get thrown onto your own stuff that's still unintegrated. So you don't know that beforehand. It is always a maybe. And I told the story to my clients the other day, which was, and I'm paraphrasing here, but there's this Chinese proverb of a farmer, right? And he lives in this, like, he's pretty poor. And then he has a son, and this one day there's all these wild horses that are coming, like running into the village, and they stop in his little farm, And then all the people of the village come and like, oh my God, look at you. Like the fortune has turned, like the tables have turned, and you're going to be rich now. You have all these horses. And he's like, maybe. So the next day, the son goes out to tame some of the horses, right? So he jumps on, like trying to ride them. Eventually he falls off, breaks his leg. And then the people from the village come again and they're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like you had all these horses, now your son broke his leg. That's so bad. That's miserable, right? And he goes again, maybe. Then the next day, there is people from the army officers coming by to draft people for the war that's breaking out, right? So they come in and say like, oh, we want to take the eldest son to go to war with us. And then the son has his leg broken. So they're like, oh, I guess we can't draft him, so they leave again. People of the village come in again and say, oh my God, look at you. Like I thought leg was broken, how miserable, how lucky you are. Your son can stay home, he's not going to die. He again, maybe. So the moral of the story is we never know what's going to happen. If we latch onto it too quickly, usually it's not the thing and we get disappointed, we're going to suffer. The more we can stay open like this and just let it happen, let it unfold and see what it does. The more at peace, the more joy, the more love we're going to experience, because we do not know. And sometimes we go through all these different things with one person. In the beginning, we think it's the love of our life. Then it's a nasty breakup. Then we come back together again. It's like we don't know what that person is here for. We really don't. But one thing we can say for sure, and this is kind of what I wanted to talk about in the second topic, is there is, in a way, there is a single way that will lead you, that holds the key to unlock all the doors for you eventually. Because it's not, like, ask yourself, is it really desirable for you in this life to have someone give you the answer to everything that you want? Or do you want to find that out yourself? The only thing why you would want that is because you feel unsafe within yourself. If you feel safe within you, you don't want anybody to tell you what to do, how to work out. Like, that's fucking boring. You want to discover that for yourself. So the reason why awareness is so important, the way we can look at it right now, the way we're going about this is we have all these paths that we say, like, everybody's like, this path leads to the same end goal. But the thing is really, like, usually they don't. But there is one path that's going to go like this, kind of up like this, and then it branches out like a tree in all these different directions. And that's when you prioritize awareness over everything else. Awareness really means you can see clearly. The greater your awareness, the more insight you have into life, the more clearly you can see, the higher the chances of you actually experiencing the things that you want. And if we look at what do you really want, it's again usually an emotional state. We want to feel at peace. We want to feel safe. We want to feel love, unconditional love for ourselves, for other people. We want to feel joy, right? Freedom, unconditional freedom. So there's this path. You go up here, you prioritize that, and then that's the key to unlock all the other doors for you. It's the master key. And that's why we don't tell you what exactly that path is. We can only give you the tools that will increase your awareness. And then from there, you have the liberty to go any direction you want to go. Anything that is important and necessary and required for you, and only you will know that. But now you have the set of keys, like the whole thing, to unlock all these doors for you. That to me is like the most powerful thing. That's why I don't want the teacher who just tells me, like, do this thing. No. I want to figure that out by myself. I want to explore that. That's why I'm here.
There's only two things that can happen, right, in life when we are navigating through it. One is something that we all know we are going to face eventually, one day or another, which is our death. And the other is life, right? And when you trust life into actually move forward with you and being open to experiencing it fully, being present, and not avoiding totally the second part, which is death, that's kind of like the freedom of navigating. That is the freedom of being here. Because there's only two things that can happen. The failing in getting a job, the failing in talking to the girl, the failing of, let's say, getting rejected, is still life. You're still in this path towards life, towards going somewhere, towards, moving forward. As long as you are not dead, you can still navigate toward endless possibilities. And not all of those we are even aware or able to conceptualize, to be like, that's what I want. That's what I want. Because let me tell you, most of the things that I did and I achieved, I would not even imagine doing it or experiencing it. So how could I know? How could I go towards that without even knowing that it was possible? I didn't know it was possible. But then one day, life, boom, it's here. Even in the most amazing, happiest thing ever, or in the saddest, most fucked up thing ever, But those are things that will happen and that we need to deal with. And we are going to know how to deal with when those things arise. We don't need to prepare ourselves. We don't need to prepare ourselves for the 1,000 scenarios that will come up when you go say hi to this girl that you like. You don't need to. You wait for her to give her answer. And then in the moment, you answer that based on what is happening there in the moment. But all this rehearsing, all this idea, oh, I'm going to say this, she's going to say that, or I'm going to do this, that is going to happen. Just let go of this shit. Just let go of it. Come back here, be present.
And that's obviously easier said than done. Hey, bro, just be here, man. Like, that's, you know how on these, like, when you buy tea sometimes, like the little tea bags, and they have like these little phrases on there, kind of like this, just be present, live in the moment, right? Like this. But it's true though, like this is what it is about. And I don't know if you can relate, but to me it's so palpable as you were talking about this, like getting rejected by a girl. And you know, like the thing that's pushing us, that's making this so difficult, is because there's this discomfort inside of us that just keeps bubbling up all the time. And then we try to get away from it somehow. So we try to find ways to sedate it, to band-aid it, right? Like with a good reaction from a girl to get approval, like that helps us to temporarily forget about it. But it's not really the solution. Like ultimately, if we want to be free, we have to really deal with that. And that's why we're so transparent about it and want to share more how we want to show you how we're like, in a way, struggling. Like to you, it might look like struggling. It's like, oh, this is not the result that I want, right? The stuff that they're going through right now, you know, with women, with ourselves, like stuff that's just coming up. But that's the journey. That's like when you really give yourself the liberty to go through it all and not reject anything. And I don't know if you can relate, but when you see someone on the internet, like someone who's shooting video and he just shows every single facet of his life, the crazy shit he's done, him just eating food, him taking a shit, you're like, wow. Where you can really feel like he's not rejecting any aspect. Not what other people are doing. Like there's such a non-reliance on the external, because even the judgment itself, it comes from us clinging to a different point of view. We have to hold on to our point of view and then we start to defend it inevitably. Right? So we can't really be free. We live in a life where we either have to fight for something or we have to protect ourselves and defend something. And that's the part of like living in time. That's where we're trapped right now, because we're not living in the present moment. When you live in the present moment, that stuff falls away. You can let go of these things. No more need for protection, no more need for fighting for things. And the reason why is because you can actually start integrating this discomfort, and then you automatically drop more and more into the now. And you realize all the things you were seeking are already right here. And this is the program that, like, over 9 months, this is kind of what we're doing. Like, how can you come back into the now? So all of this drops away and you actually feel the peace. You feel like, hey, look, even though I'm not feeling perfect all the time, like $1,000,000 and just like bouncing off the walls. No, like I'm going through this stuff, but I'm actually peeling back the layers and cleaning stuff out. That's the gradual process that will liberate you for the rest of your life. And then there's really no telling of how far you can go. You can take it all the way then. But that's like the biggest obstacle for us. It's the discomfort. And then it's our resistance to the discomfort. If we could take out all resistance that we have to life right now, there's no describing of what that would feel like. Like such a bliss that it's just beyond words. So we gradually look at all these little pieces of resistance that we have, stuff that's stuck in our bodies that we're all resisting to. And for that, we need to see clearly. We need to see more. Because if we're too distracted by what's out there on the movie screen, this is how I describe it to my clients. There's a projector down here behind it, and then there's the movie screen. And the movie screen is kind of what life is, like all our external circumstances that we're in. So if we focus too much on that, we don't even see that it's coming from the projector itself. That's throwing the image on the wall. So if we go back there, we change that, then the image externally automatically changes. And to me, and I said this in the video that I filmed after our last call, I was super raw and stuff and just shared everything, like so transparent about exactly the stuff I went through, been going through recently, that ultimately where all this is leading us to the very pinnacle of like the human evolution, like what the maximum, like the very peak of the mountain that you can reach in this human form. That's where I'm headed. And that's why this journey is so powerful, I think, to follow along and to, if you want, to join and jump in with me and do it, because that's what's ultimately going to lead you. And then in a couple of years, you're going to be like, this was so worth it. When other people out there are still struggling and they're like trying to find the next career, or they get super depressed because they lost their job, and you're just like, all these things have no real effect like on me anymore like they used to. Like I'm so open all the time that I can let all this stuff just play out here on the canvas, on the movie screen, and I don't need to fiddle around with any of it.
This idea also that your coach or we have an episode about that in itself, that we know the answers, that for everything, for everyone, for all the moments, we are always perfect. This is, again, if we really felt that, and I'm pretty sure a lot of coaches out there have this idea, that they know everything, they're above their students. That's, again, the same thing that we are discussing here right now, that we are so holding on to these things that now we think we have everything. But trust me, life will find a way to show you that you are not. Even if you don't tell your students, even if you don't tell in front of the camera, life will show you again. It will humble you. Life will humble you again and put you on your knees, because you need to go further. We are not satisfied with this experience here, like Martin was saying. You want to reach here, the top of the peak of the mountain, the top of the peak.
The top of the peak of the top of the peak of the top. And that's why I look at all my relationships, whether it's with clients, whether it's with you, like anyone really, I don't look at them. If someone comes to me and they have such a firm, like, unless they try to like push their opinion onto me and they say, this is the way, like, you got it, like, you're wrong, Martin, like, I don't trust what you're seeing, then obviously I'm like, okay, I'm not sure I want to listen to this. But if someone comes to me, no matter who it is, I stay open, because I know life and our true nature, like whatever we're all made up of, like there's no real name we can give that substance is using everything and everyone in our lives to communicate deeper truths to us. So if we remain open, then our students, our clients can teach us things that maybe no one else could have taught us. So by us staying open and saying, that's again coming back to, we're not in a rush. We're not saying I already know, because we're not trying to rely on anything that's firm, that's solid anymore. We're saying like, okay, take it all away and see what remains. And then we're in this constant place of openness and receiving. That's when you can really listen. You can really see what's going on. That's when you're able to respond to life, when you're not reacting. The reason why you're closing off is because you're reacting, because you feel like you have to, again, defend yourself. That's a reaction. You have to defend your view against someone else's view. They can penetrate. And I had this so much when I was younger, when I relied so much on this for safety and security. But when you're being present, then there's nothing to defend. Everything you can let everything happen and unfold the way it needs to. You're not taking it personally anymore. It's just there. It's out there. But it's not grabbing you anymore. It doesn't feel like, oh, I got to defend myself. I got to fight for my own thing. You can just let it go. And you're just receiving all the time. And you trust, and you can see with more and more insight that you have, you start to see how trusting your insight, you will take in the things that are valuable and necessary and required for you in the moment. And the rest you can just let go. There is no, I need to contain all of this.
Awareness, awareness, awareness. And that's why this is the nuclear point. Nuclear, no.
Nuclear point.
Jesus Christ. I'll give up, guys. This is the end for me. This is the pivotal point into all of what we're saying. Without developing the sense of awareness, you don't have a balance. You don't have something that will hold you through. So you can still navigate to life without awareness and being open to everything, but you're going to be pushed away everywhere. So this side, that side, blah, 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 blah. With a strong sense of awareness, you can still get, like Martin was saying, feedback from other people, sometimes good feedback, sometimes not, whatever it is. But the core of your existence is there. And this is your ground. This is what is holding you to the experience of life in itself. And then from this strong sense of awareness, you can navigate and you can explore. You can go forward. There was one exercise, stupid exercise that actually I wanted to give, just as an example, but I'm pretty sure that most of the guys here listening to this might have heard about this idea of when you go talk to a girl, imagine that you have $1 million. Well, $1 million is too much to have in your pocket. $200 in your pocket, and you're trying to give her this, right? Let's do a different exercise where next time, imagine that you have nothing, not even your pants. What is left? What is left that you can give to that person? And do that. Well, don't take your pants off, please. And then you come back here to the comments and say, what can you give to other people if you have nothing besides your own body? What is left from you?
Yes, and even beyond the body, but and that's what they talk about, right? The groundless ground in Zen. And it's interesting, and I want to wrap it up with that. When we feel like there is one ground that is going to hold you more stable than anything else, but we're not trusting that ground yet because it is the unknown. And that's the thing that can really hold you throughout all of your life. All the other grounds, these artificial safety nets that you're creating for yourself in your career, with family, with women, with whoever, that is sooner or later going to break away. And then you have to again search for the next one. You know, have you ever seen, like, in a movie, I saw this animated movie, I don't know what it was called. Oh, was it Kung Fu Panda or something? I don't know, maybe. And so there's the bad whatever, like this the guy that practices the dark whatever Kung Fu and stuff. He breaks out of prison. And so when they kind of rip the whole thing, like to prevent him from breaking out, they tear down the whole bridge and everything, and all the pieces are starting to fall down, like from the bridge. And what the guy does, the bad guy, he like jumps from one to the next and actually goes up in the air, higher and higher and higher to the exit. So this is kind of what we're doing. It's like everything starts falling down and we fall deeper and deeper, and we try to jump to the next one up here to hold on to it, and then quickly climb up to the next one as everything is already like crashing down on us. When the women come crashing down, the career, everything, those are all just things that we feel we have to then hold on to, jump and grab onto it, because we feel everything underneath us is just like the rug is being pulled from underneath us. And the reason why, it's the discomfort. That's what's kind of constantly pulling us down. So if we deal with the discomfort, then there's no longer a need to bounce around like this. So if you want to deal with that permanently, once and for all, there should be a link somewhere under this video. Reach out to me. Join the Facebook group. Reach out to us there, and we'll set that up for you. But in any case, do not forget to watch part number 3, which we're going to get into now.